Hi everybody, Cheaply Chic, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to work on putting together a tassel for my smooth sailing journal. At least I'm going to attempt to. For those of you who ordered the collection, these are the pieces that came in the kit. My thoughts were this ring is perfect to string fabric and fibers and ribbons and string through, and then there's a bullnose clip here and then a little chain to attach the ring to the clip. And then there's also a little jar in here. I'm going to put some beach sand in mine. And then there are a few shells. I sent small shells thinking they would be great for gluing onto pages or tags or whatnot, but I am going to try something today, and this might fail because these are so tiny. So it's better for me to fail here, sharing it on camera with you guys so that we know how this is going to go for those of you who have some of these shells and you might be interested in trying it too. At least if I break my shells, you know, it's better than you breaking your shells. So I picked up this little set of diamond drill bits on Amazon. I also have my husband's greasy drill here, and I am going to try using this stronger drill bit to put a tiny hole in some of these shells so that I can string them onto my tassel. Now, I do know from these projects already that you do want to be sure that you're using a diamond drill bit to get through shells. These probably aren't that big of a deal because they're small already and they're pretty thin compared to larger shells. If you were trying to drill through larger shells, you would definitely want these, but I knew that I needed to get some anyway for some projects that I have a desire to create, so this was the perfect opportunity for that. So these drill bits have a little bit of an extra coating on them compared to a regular drill bit. I'm no expert about drill bits, but I can tell that already. We are going to find out if this drill will hold this tiny drill bit, because sometimes I have tried. Okay, I think we're good. My husband's drill before, and it's too skinny and I can't get it on there. I'm going to start with the bigger one. I feel like, I don't know, I might have better luck with this one. I need something to drill against, and I'm going to try this foam. This is just a thicker piece of craft foam that I had laying here. I thought about trying a rag, but we're just going to go for it. Now, I have also heard that you want to hold your shell against this foam, because if you're just trying to drill, you can break your shell pretty easily. So here we go. Let's see how this works. Well, I was scared, so I wanted to take a little break, but I do see that I'm making a little indentation there. You can see the shell material there on my fingers. So I decided to go in quite a bit instead of trying to drill against the edge, just for fear of breaking the shell. So I'm going to continue slowly. Oh, see, I'm already scared I'm breaking it. All right. All right, I did it. I don't want to drill through my desk, so I'm just going to back this out slowly, hopefully. There we go. All right, yay. So see there, I got a little hole in my shell. All right, let's see if I can manage to do some more of these. This one is a little thicker. Oop, this one wants to travel. I'm taking a break, mostly because I'm really scared to ruin my desk. where I take the pictures. Okay, so I am going to just put this cloth here. It just makes me feel a little better. And I'm going to continue drilling on the same spot. Because the shell is thicker, it's definitely taking more pressure and a little more patience. I definitely want to go slow with it. I'm almost there. I can kind of see my shadow through there. All right, a little bit more. So there we have it. This time I can just slide it off of there. Nice. Okay, so here is another little shell. Let's try this one. Oh, alrighty. So this one broke immediately. I'm kind of glad that happened. That one was a little more fragile. Possibly if I'd have tried drilling it closer to this area instead of the top area. But I can say if you have this shell, I would probably just glue that one down somewhere. So I have another one of these white ones. In fact, this time I'm going to try it more toward that. Maybe. Ooh, that one went through pretty quick. Okay, so these white ones, they can take a little bit of abuse. They're a little thicker and they're pretty good. This one could be pretty questionable. I also have a smaller scallop shell here. This one's pretty thin. I'm not going to try drilling a hole in that one. So as of right now, I do have 3. I'm going to grab a few other shells out of my stash and I'm going to attempt to drill into those, and then we will come back and start working on the tassel. All right, so I ended up not drilling anymore because I remembered that I had a baggie set aside with these little drill holes from snails. A lot of these animals will be eaten by other little snails in the ocean that will drill into their shell and then eat the animal. It's pretty sad. But it creates these little holes in them already. So I try to pay attention to that sometimes and separate them. So I have this little plate I can work with if I decide to. So to create the tassel, if you wanted to, you could use the fibers that came in the collection already. Of course, all of us know about making tassels and things like that. So I just have some scrap burlap sitting here from working on the covers. I would like to try to use this, a little bit of this, just to add some texture to my tassel. So this is a loose weave piece, and then I have this white burlap here. So I'm gonna start by cutting a piece of this. They also, you know, have ribbon options that are like burlap looking. There's a great one from Dollar Tree. If you can find them, they look like this. Those would look awesome. I might try that out too. I'm super excited. I have been very excited to try making these. It's been something I've been looking forward to. So let's see. There we go. I like that. I don't know how long it'll last. You guys know that weave isn't very tight, so that's all right. And maybe a piece of this. I actually don't know that I want to add too much more to this. All right, I know it's pretty simple. It isn't thick at all, but I think this is what I'm going to stick with. So I have some white cord, and I'm just going to tie this off. I also picked this cord because it's so thin. I'm also going to string my shells on this cord, so just something to think about. So as I was creating my tassel, I was almost finished when I saw that my video had cut out. My phone was full. So I actually finished that tassel, and there are things that as I was creating it, I wasn't happy with anyway, so it's okay. I'm going to just give you a glimpse of how my tassel turned out, but we're going to pick up where the video left off. I was wrapping the string around the tassel right before it cut off, and I had tied it really close to the edge here and then wrapped it and then tied it off. I regretted that as I was creating the tassel, so as I have started making the second tassel, I left the tail longer, wrapped the thread, and then tied it off. So I have these two tails now, and I'm going to use those to attach my shells to the tassel. The other thing I'm going to do before I complete the shells on the tassel is I'm going to fill this little bottle with some beach sand that I have. I'm just dipping the bottle into the sand. If you don't have any sand from your local beach that you enjoy going to, or a trip that you went on, there's always sand for sale at the Dollar Tree also. All right, so now I'm going to glue my cork into my bottle, and I used this glue the first time, and I actually like it better than hot glue. It didn't dry perfectly clear like it usually does on paper, but it did hold the cork in. As that dries, I'm going to set that aside. All right, so I already used my shells. I used the shell that we had drilled a hole into, and then I used this piece of shell that was pretty broken up from the beach. So I have this plate of shells here. I don't know if I shared that in the clip yet, but these are all shells that have already had a hole drilled into them by a type of snail that will eat this animal by drilling a hole into the shell. So that's sad, but I am happy that I have these shells. I try to pay attention on the beach and pick up the ones that have holes in them. And like I mentioned earlier, I like the messy look with the strings. So all right, and something else I discovered, even though we drilled a hole in that scallop shell, I found that because I had made my tassel in a way that I wasn't thrilled with, I ended up gluing it to the top of the tassel, even though it was tied on originally. Well, maybe not. I don't know, we'll see. So I decided that I wanted to attach my little sand bottle with this brown twine just to make it stand out a little bit more against my tassel. So I'm just going to take the end of the twine. My glue's not dry yet, but I'm just going to go for it anyway. And I'm going to double knot that around the neck of the bottle. Okay, trim that a little. Now there is a lot of room on that bottle that I can wrap this twine, so I'm just going to use a little hot glue here. Added way too much. But I'm just going to wrap this twine a little bit into the glue and into the neck. And as that cools, I'm just popping that excess hot glue off of there. You know, this is a gooey mess, but I'm just gonna add a tiny touch of hot glue just to help that stay in place as that glue's drying, so I can keep messing with it. Goodness, I feel like this video is all over the place, so I hope it's making sense to you guys how I'm using this. And then I'm just going to tie this to the ring. So it is dangling with the shells. I didn't attach mine to the tassel. You could if your string was long enough. Mine wasn't. Even though this is the second time I'm putting this together, still didn't quite turn out exactly right. That's all right. I think I'm going to tie on one more shell here, and I want to tie it toward the end of this string. Just trim that one. And then I have 4 elements hanging here, so I always like to work in odd numbers. I'm going to take this scallop and I'm going to glue it to the top of this tassel. So to help it have a little bit of added cushion, and because there's such a deep groove in the shell, I'm adding a piece of foam tape that I can add some of this hot glue to, and it'll just help it hold on a little bit better to the tassel. And I'm also just going to add a little bit of hot glue to the bottom of the shell. And then, without burning myself, I'm going to add it over the strings of the shells, just to hold them in place a little bit. I'm going to include the twine from the bottle too. Okay, and that'll just help hold it in place. All right, so that's what I ended up with there. All right, so I'm going to take the chain, add it to the bullnose clip here, and I'm also going to add the tassel to the chain, close it up. Now, if this is too long for you and you want it a little shorter, you can snip this chain and make that shorter itself, or you can just use it, you know, if you want to add this a different way. But let's see. My thoughts are I'm just going to clip mine to the top of my journal. There's a lot going on here right now, but I think I'll trim it up a little bit. Okay, well, there's my thoughts on how to put together a shell tassel. I hope that you guys found it a little helpful. And at least as I worked through my issues, hopefully you figured out what not to do. If I can do anything, hopefully it's at least show you what not to do. No, it's all right. All right, you guys. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Like I said, I hope you found this helpful. I would love to see how your tassels come out and what you decide to do to create yours over in the Facebook group. In the description box down below, I will leave a link to the Facebook group. And if you created a tassel like this or you're planning on it, we would love it if you would come over to that group and share some inspiration with us. We love having other ideas. You know, if you purchase this collection, we love seeing how you decide to use it as well. So that link will be in the description box down below, as well as my Instagram. If you want to follow me over there, sometimes I get to work on some projects that I don't share here on YouTube, so you will catch those over there on Instagram. And then I also do enjoy sharing some just a little more personal journal spreads and things in the Facebook group. So I haven't been able to work in my journal in a while, but I am planning on doing that this week. So I plan on sharing that over there a little bit too. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.